for another year, so you can see me beating your ass in Div 2 again, hopefully. But moving on for me, I'm also joined tonight by Minnie.
Hi. A fun fact was today I finally moved out from my dorm. Uh, that was very fun and tiring, but I'm here.
Oh, yeah, I mean, if you are a keen absorber and haven't noticed, I'm in a different location too. It's that time of year where all the college students are moving about. Um, Regardless, we have a great episode for you tonight. This is the final episode of the CCA podcast before Grand Finals weekend, so there is a lot of good stuff to cover. We'll be going over some quick CCA announcements, recapping the final week of playoffs here, and then interviewing We Aquatic Little Creatures as they got a pivotal Game 9 victory over Springfield, Ohio that punched their ticket into the Division 2 Grand Finals match this weekend. And then we will be previewing all the Grand Finals matches afterwards, including match comments from every single Grand Finals team. So there's a lot to cover here. So let's increase the counter and let's just get right into it. So starting with some CCA announcements. For you fantasy lovers, I have some unfortunate news that there's no critical fantasy updates this week. But Snow is working hard to calculate those final scores for both the entire season leaderboard and for the playoff bracket scoreboard as well. Look for more formal announcements later next week. Minnie, would you like to talk about the all division teams and cookbook?
Yeah. So just before this podcast, the all div submission form in the cookbook are live. All divisions is form is where you can nominate someone from your division that you think that stood out the most or did phenomenal throughout the season, and you can nominate them to get them a chance to be on the all div team. Do note that you can't nominate anyone from your school. And then the second thing was the cookbook is also now live. All the recipes from the cookbook were from our community, and we have great names from the recipes, such as the Kraken Mayo pancakes and Mario meatballs. Uh, Frosty made each page, so go check it out and be sure to try out some of the recipes.
Oh, certainly. The cookbook is back in its full glory once again. I've yet to try some of the recipes there, but Frosty always makes them look very appetizing and with a great
Mhm.
page layout.
Mhm.
So Vapor will be getting those links into chat shortly. Additionally, there's two more links and forms to fill out. The first being the CCA Season 5 feedback form. If you have any thoughts on how this season has went, or if you want to influence future seasons, please fill out this form such that we staff can make this league the best it can be. You can also praise your favorite CCA staff members in there. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Put in a word with me with the big man. Well, and Minnie and Vapor as well. They all do wonderful things here. Additionally, also released with this form at the same time was the input form for the map of the CCA project. If you aren't already aware, the map of the CCA project looks to visualize how collegiate teams interact with each other outside of formal matches. We've previously done in a visual with the Sox 23 data, and we have collected the Season 4 data, and I'm working on the map, trust me, it'll be out eventually. However, given the influx of new relationships that have formed over this past season, we believe it's time to collect more information and to make a new visual to show just how the collegiate community has grown and adapted and shaped. So if you're a team captain and would like to take part in this, you can find the form both in chat and in announcements. And please fill out as accurately as you can to give us a great sense of how our community looks like in life. So yeah, that is the end of our announcements. So a lot of our returning end of the season projects are up and running, and we are slowly going to start to wind things down here now that the season is almost over.
Yeah.
However, there's still one more week to recap and one more week of matches to actually play. So we still have a lot of good content here. So let's move on to our playoff week 3 recap. So actually not a lot of matches were played this last week. However, the ones that were played were absolutely pivotal and crucial to understanding the standings for each of these divisions. So as you know, we had 3 weeks for both quarterfinals and semifinals. So it seems like a lot of those matches got done in the first 2 weeks. We had some stragglers here. So without further ado, let's kind of take it division by division and recap the 1 or 2 pivotal matches that happened in each this past week. So starting with Division 6, let's talk about Octos and Squids United Grey versus Sun God Squads. Against the popular fantasy vote, Octos and Squids United Grey was able to pull an impressive and dominant victory over Sun God Squad out of UCSD. If your bracket in Division 6 wasn't already broken, this match surely was probably the one that broke it. As now every single fantasy bracket in Division 6 is broken, as Sun God Squad was the favorite in the division to win. This actually is a very pivotal upset and speaks volumes to Ansu, considering the fact that only 4 individuals actually had them getting into the finals match for Division 6, and no one had them winning it all together. So we'll have to see if they prove us all wrong as they look to take home the Division 6 crown this weekend. Minnie, would you like to cover Division 5?
Yeah, so the key match for Division 5 was the Table Troop going 5-1 against the Clock Hoi. The Tabletop Troop follows up from the win in quarterfinals over FSU and scores a big catch with a 5-1 victory against the fan favorite Clock Hoi. This ends Clock Hoi's glorious run as they now get bumped down to Dish 5's third placement, which is still great improvement from the previous last season. The Tabletop Troop I'm sorry, tongue twister. Now moves on to Div 5 finals and is looking to be the Goliath to take down.
Indeed. Yes. I hate to see Worcester teams losing with Clark, but Table Troop had such a dominant performance in that semifinals match. It is hard to root against them. So they've had a hell of a good academic year for showing up last season. Getting pretty far in Division 6 and now running it back here in Division 5. So some great Splatoon from them, and it's going to be very excited to see them take on their Grand Finals match later. So, moving on to Division 4. Nothing happened in Division 4 this week. All those matches were covered in the first 2 weeks, so nothing to recap. We'll talk about the Grand Finals teams after the interview later. However, we can move on to Division 3, where a very pivotal upset happens with Egg Spaghetti versus the Goomies. Egg Spaghetti continued their undefeated streak in Season 5 with another big win, this time coming from the fan favorite from Virginia Commonwealth Universities, that being their team, the Goomies. The run of the Goomies has come to an end with them going 4-1 in the regular season before previously being upset by Egg Spaghetti. Previously upsetting Bash in quarterfinals with a decisive 5-1 victory. Egg Spaghetti is now looking forward at their finals match against Long Beach Black, who comes off of a 5-1 victory over EA UCT Splatoon White, which should be a very fun showdown. So Div 3 has proven to be the most unpredictable bracket to follow this season. A lot of fan favorites have been knocked out very early, and it has breathed some light into some unknown, not unknown, but lesser established and lesser known programs to shine here in Division 3. So some great stuff from the Berkeley folks. So let's pass it to Minnie for Div 2.
For the Div 2, you have 2 matches. The first one be Splatlanders having a 5-3 victory over SplatScad Black team. The Splatlanders, despite being an undefeated team here in Division 2, have pulled off an impressive upset as they toppled the number 1 seed in Division 2 in a 8-game semifinal set. The SplatScad Black was also undefeated heading into this matchup, including a 5-0 quarterfinal sweep over Queen Corn. But despite an impressive performance where they won 3 games, ultimately it was the Splatlanders coming away with the win. Splatlanders is now hoping to cap off a perfect season in the finals against We Aquatic Little Creatures coming up. And then the next match is We Aquatic Little Creatures taking a victory 5-4 over Springfield, Ohio. A true battle for the ages occurred here as it went all the way to a game 9. WALC to emerge victory over the scrappy Springfield, Ohio team. We Aquatic Little Creatures went 3-2 in the regular season, ultimately making playoffs after holding the tiebreaker of a tiebreaker of a 3-way tie. But after a 5-1 win over Seminoles Cephalopods Garnet and winning this intense bout, they have punched their tickets into the Division II finals. Springfield's impressive run has come to a close after they squeaked into playoffs before majorly upsetting UCSD Esports Navy and coming within a game off of Grants. We'll hear more about this in our interview segment later on.
Yeah, some fantastic stuff from Division 2 here. I think if you told me at the beginning of the season that it'd be Splatbenders versus WALC in the finals, I don't think I would believed you, knowing some of the big dogs that were there at the start of Div 2. But holy hell, these teams have shown just how dominant they've been here in this bracket. And I think even with that statement, a lot of the community didn't fully believe it too till a bit later, with only Kira even predicting a Splatbenders versus WALC matchup here in Grands. Unfortunately having the bracket broken by something else. But yeah, some fantastic games here being played in Division 2. And it's gonna be great to talk to WALC here in a bit. But Minnie, would you like to take us on to Division 1?
Yeah. So going on to Division 1, the very intense match, Red Embers taking the victory, going 5-2 against PSU Blue Square. And the most hyped up match in the entire CCA Season 5 thus far, the number 1 seeded Red Embers have beaten the defending champions in 7 games to advance to the Division 1 grand finals. All eyes were on this matchup as Red Embers shrugged off the unexpectedly late start to the season with an impressive 5-0 record, including 3 wins in one night. They dismantled CSULB Gold in quarterfinals before proving here why they are the number 1 seed in the CCA League in this pivotal matchup. PSU Blue Square with the defending champs and had quite the successful regular season, as well as handing into this matchup, including a 5-0 sweep over OU Academy A in the quarterfinals. Ultimately, they will be fighting for the third, but are regardless proving to be a force, as we will all know they would be. Red Embers is now looking forward to what should be an incredible grand finals matchup with against UCSD Esports Gold. I'm so excited for that matchup.
It's gonna be fantastic. I know Krona Beer has been on the podcast a few times at this bit, and it's very much been talking up UCSD Esports Gold. So it's been very good to hear those two teams finally meet. That being said, let's actually dive a little bit into how Esports Gold got into that grand finals match and talk about their 5-3 victory over the Night Sharks. So UCSD has advanced to the finals after winning this key rematch in 8 games. UCSD has an incredible regular season, setting the record for the fastest of any team to have ever clinched the playoffs in CCA history. They followed this up with a quick 5-0 quarterfinal sweep over UA UCD Banana Split before besting their old demons in semifinals. We were able to reach out to UCSD to see what they had to say about this triumphant victory, and here's what they had to say. This is specifically from Goach. CD Wumi. My apologies. I cannot speak for the rest of the team, but I was extremely nervous going into the set. We historically have not been able to compete with the Night Sharks at all. We hadn't played them in quite a while though, and we were at our strongest we've ever been. We've all put in so much work individually to prep for finals, grinding X-Rink and 7Q to hone mechanics so that we could focus on team play. After taking game 1, all nerves completely subsided. I knew that, win or loss, we were finally good enough to play at their level. Even as we got rolled in games 2 and 3, we remained calm. We typically like to take aggressive openings, but got called out and locked out for it twice in a row. So we decided to slow down on rollout and just play neutral from the get-go, which is exactly the adjustment we needed. The set was the long-awaited payoff for all the practice we putting into the game over the past few months. Fantastic comment from CD Wumi, UCSD's Carbon Roller. So following up, Night Sharks have been a storied CCA Div 1 team in the past seasons, and they continue to be a powerhouse this season as well, with only 1 loss, followed by an upset victory over VCU Big Fat Seek House in the quarterfinals. Despite prior success against the team, UCSD has proven to be too good for them to best this time around. So a very impressive match from UCSD in a very pivotal moment for Division One history in the CCA. UCSD finally getting the win over the Night Sharks, and finally getting their chance at a Division One title here this season. So some amazing stuff coming from Division One here. So before we go into the interview, Minnie, I actually kind of want to get your opinion as a fellow Division One team, kind of just on your thoughts on how this all has developed, and your thoughts on these teams that are now in the grand finals.
I think I knew the quarterfinals would be super important for this grand finals, but like seeing UCSD's and Night Sharks game, I genuinely thought that could have been the finals. Like that was so intense, and the way UCSD won it to go to the grand finals, I was shocked. I think I think in general, Red Embers against UCSD. Well, I've been talking to Krona lately, and he said like it's like an even match. It could go either way. Go to the game 9. I mean, if it happens, I'm super excited for the matchup happening. I think this Sunday night. So I'm kind of rooting for both. I don't have one favorite.
You really can't go wrong with either of these teams. Both have shown such dominant performance this season. And it really speaks to the quality of the playoff teams in Division 1 too. A lot of these teams did not have any trouble in the regular season. And now that you get to semis, now you get to grands, you're starting to see these titans of the collegiate scene coming face to face in some very high octane and pivotal matches. So we'll have more to talk about the Division 1, all of them later. That being said, we want to transition to talking to a grand final team, that being We Aquatic Little Creatures from Purdue, and their upcoming Division 2 grand finals match. So welcome to the stage, Electronic and Episto.
Howdy.
Hey, what up?
Hello, it's great to have you two here and to have the opportunity to talk to you tonight. So for a very short kind of introduction to We Aquatic Creatures, We Aquatic Little Creatures, also known more simply WALC, made their debut in Season 4 of the CCA League. They are one of 3 teams representing Purdue University and have been considered to be the successor to Purdue's original varsity team of ITAP on several occasions. After shuffling around some players between Season 4 and Season 5, WALC has found themselves in the Division 2 playoffs after a close 3-1-2 season in regular season. So welcome, We Aquatic Little Creatures. It is great to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you. We do really appreciate being here. It's been great. We've been thinking about whether or not we could even get on, but considering our run, it makes sense you would want us here.
Yeah, no. I mean, OSN did put a very good word in throughout the entire season, but after seeing you climb from that 3-2, like barely scraping into playoffs, to this dominant force you become in semifinals, I think it was very much time to kind of sit down and have a talk with y'all. So, starting this interview off, could you please introduce yourselves and share anything we might have missed in that introduction?
Episto, you want to go first, or do you want me?
Fine, I'll go. As we know, I'm the backline for WALC. I play the pencil. I support these guys and all their buffoonery. It's been wonderful, and I'm proud to say I got best supporter in the league, and I'm pretty happy about that. But outside of that, I'm the captain. I'm just the little guy in the back. You see me hit a couple shots now and again, but that's who I am.
Yo,
Electronic.
I'm Electronic. I am the overly confident frontline dualies of WALC, and I constantly rush in and somehow win my 2v1s when I really probably shouldn't.
Yeah, all good. Great to have both kind of ends of the aggression side there represented here in this interview. So before we even get into your team, into the run this season, I want to take a little bit of a step back and talk a little bit about Purdue's Splatoon program, because Purdue's Splatoon program is one of the, if not the oldest Splatoon programs in existence here in the CCA. So Purdue has had a very long and storied history in the collegiate world, with many of Splatoon and Purdue's founding members also been founders of the PCA. Over the years, the club has evolved as new members have joined, and the scene has shifted from Splatoon 2 to Splatoon 3. So my question here is, as relatively new members of the Purdue scene, how have you established yourselves over the course of the past year and skyrocket to where have you been today?
Do you want me to take this one?
Yeah, you can take it.
Yeah, so it really all started with tryouts initially this year because as we went into tryouts, him and I, Electronic and I, we were just thinking, maybe we could get on Purdue team. Maybe I'll end up on Bash or something like that. And then we got put on this new strike team or something like that. We had a few players. We ran our way in, and it was really interesting. I was hoping to not get put on a team with Electronic, but that was so we could remain friends. Obviously, that didn't matter. We're still friends to this day. But the biggest thing is we had a really good shot initially. We had a little bit of coordination issue, but coming into this next season, we've really shown ourselves.
Yeah. Like Apista said, I just decided I used to be really into competitive Smash, and recently I've kind of dropped the game, and I was like, I want to do something new that's also competitive, that's something that I love. So I decided to do Splatoon with Aiden, see if I could get on the team. If I did, great. If I didn't, then I'd just go back to Smash, and I got on the team, and I've loved this game ever since then, and I've skyrocketed while playing with my friends and teammates.
Nice. That's very glad to hear.
So speaking off of that, you saying you've played in competitive Smash. Besides you, has anyone else have done any games or Splatoon competitively before joining WALC?
I'm pretty sure this is. I can speak for both of us here when I say this is our first competitive Splatoon experience.
Mhm.
The only other experience I had was doing the not the invitational, but the Turf War tournament that Nintendo had earlier in 2023, I believe. And I was on a team called Beischer Brigade, and not much happened there, but that was my first competitive experience and my last one up until Purdue gave me the opportunity to be on a team.
Nice.
Nice.
This past March, Purdue hosted the third Collegiate Invitational Tournament with 9 teams from 4 different universities in tow. WALC notably was able to get a surprise upset of Division 1 team MTSU Skyfall, placing them 3rd overall in the tournament. What was your experience like playing in the Purdue 2024 Invitational? And what did it take to successfully turn the tide in your favor against a CCA Division 1 team?
I'll let Electronic take his stance for the first part. I'll come in later.
Yeah, I personally had a really fun time at the tournament. And I think just being at a physical location helped with just mental a little bit. And I think it was a hand-in-hand thing where it's you're in person and you can see all the people that are watching you. So it can be a little bit stressful from that. But at the same time, it's also exhilarating because if you do something good or funny, it's shown on camera. I specifically remember I want to say it was the fight against Skyfall on Mahi Mahi, where Veckel pushes off one of Skyfall's members off the map with 10. I want to say it was their machine player. I could be wrong though. It was awesome. Yeah,
and that was one of the funny takeaways. But the biggest thing for us is we went into this thinking we'll get somewhere. We were seated 6th in the tournament, and we were thinking we'll have a good time. We'll hang out and watch the other teams play, and we ended up playing up until the final game. And it was crazy to go from losing to them in the first set, albeit the Eeltail Alley Rainmaker game was 1 point and 2 points. We just so happened to have the 2 points. And we were like, okay, that got our mental up. We were ready to go after that. And we went through the rest of the tournament, and we were cruising, we were happy, we were having a great time. And then we got back to Skyfall, and we thought we had a good run. Let's keep pushing our luck, but we probably won't get too much further. And after we took a few games, we realized we're doing better than we thought. Yeah, we were doing better than we thought we would for sure. Hearing this is a CCA Div 1 team, we were very skeptical of our own victory here, but after that first game, we were pretty confident, and audibly, we were definitely very confident. We really just tried to turn it up and kind of give ourselves a false sense of security, and you know, we were like, yeah, we can do it, and then we ended up doing it, and we placed third, and that was pivotal for us.
Mhm.
And I can't remember who we fought following that, but it was either California
No, that
Roars
was.
or
Oh, you mean in CCA?
yes, CCA, and that we took that mental and we took it straight there, and we ended up doing well in whichever team we fought. I'm pretty sure it was them,
Mhm.
I
and
wanna
it
say
was yeah, it was a wonderful experience. And I will give Skyfall the credit; they did have to travel and accommodate, so there could have been some things going on with that, but
Mhm.
otherwise, we were really proud of ourselves, and I'm very proud of my team and their performance.
Rightfully so. Before we move on from this, I wanted to ask just as a follow up: did you like feel like you had the home court advantage there at Purdue, or was that kind of like were you still just kind of getting used to the in person setup?
It's I think it was a lot of getting used to because we had played a tournament, we did tryouts in the same place we had the invitational, but it was still the case of we're kind of a nervous team, but we're not nervous when we're getting on stream. So it was a little bit to get used to, but it wasn't as rocky as we were expecting.
That's very good to hear. So moving a little bit away from the invitational, more to Purdue's program as a whole. Unlike many university esports program, Purdue runs through an independent traditional club format, with club members being elected to various officer positions such as president, treasurer, or vice president. However, a lot will be changing over the horizon. Purdue. Recently, the second generation of Splatoon at Purdue, Splatoon at Purdue officers have graduated or moved on to other opportunities. One of these officers' roles will be fulfilled by Pisto, who will be succeeding Obazen's formal role as vice president. To the audience, yes, Obazen was the one who wrote the question. As we will be entering a new era for Purdue's scene in the coming months. What exactly do you all expect will change? Are you ready for the changes that may be coming your way in the coming years?
I'll let Electronic start us.
I mean, you're gonna be vice president here, so I feel like you should start us off.
I mean, sure, I'll take that precedent. So moving forward, it's going to be very interesting. This year's cabinet was very orderly, and having 3 graduating seniors and an officer not returning, and it just being me continuing on in the cabinet, it's going to be a little scrappy. But Splatoon 3 was meant to be chaotic. It'll be a fine cabinet to be chaotic with. We'll figure things out as we go. We're going to keep traditions rolling. We're going to make sure the invitationals happen, that we still have the fun stuff going on for everybody, and we're going to keep everything rolling. I'm responsible for a lot of the graphic design and stuff like that. I'm confident in my ability to fulfill Omazen's shoes and accurately either add to or keep up the same pace that he was at. And I think we're moving forward at a good pace.
Yeah. Anything you'd like to add there, Electronic?
Nothing really. I mean, I don't have much of a big say in it all since I'm not a cabinet member like Episto is, but I'll help advertise next year because as Splatoon is getting an older game, it's gonna have less and less advertising, so we're gonna have to advertise the game ourselves to a new incoming freshman this upcoming year. So that's gonna be a fun challenge or fun thing to do. I don't know.
I know with my experience kind of running the club here, like just because you don't have an officer position doesn't mean you can help it anyways. Just kind of getting the word out, being an active member of the community is always great efforts and stuff to develop the program further. But yeah, it's great to hear that, for the oldest Splatoon program here in the collegiate scene in Purdue is chugging along, and it looks like things are going really well and will be heading to the future. So finally, let's take a look to more of WALC's history as a collegiate team, starting with your Season 4 run. So WALC had a very successful debut season with PCCA, going 3-2 overall in the group stage, with their team being just short of playoffs. So I want to ask you 2 questions here. First, what are your thoughts on your debut season? And then how was your team able to manage the complexities of being seated so high in your first season?
I'll let Electronic start because he definitely has his position here.
Yeah, no. I thought we did pretty well starting off. We could have done probably a little bit better as just working as a team and like making plays and just playing together more, because I felt like we didn't do much of that as our starting season. However, we still did pretty well, and especially with adapting, I'm surprised with just as like completely new to just Splatoon competitive, because I didn't really start taking this game very seriously up until I got into collegiate. So it's been a heck of a journey, so to say the least.
You have anything to add on Episto?
Remind me of the question again.
I said, what are your thoughts on your debut season as WALC, and how was your team able to manage the complexities of being seeded so high in your first season? That being in Division 2.
Right. So initially, I was like, we better get Div 3. We're not ready for the big leagues yet. And Electronic was not very happy with that take,
What,
and I
Div
understandably, yeah, he wanted Div 1. I didn't respect that at all. I thought maybe Div 4 would be a good place for us right now. You know, we're starting fresh, but the confidence of everyone and being put in Div 2 was horrifying to start. I thought this is going to be a wash of a season. We're going to blow up, and nothing's going to happen. And then it was a little stressful, I'll admit, but the initial reaction was, we're not going to make it.
Yeah. Well, going from that to this season, WALC made quite a few changes in the off season, picking up a player named Veckel, completely new to the competitive scene. How have you all managed this change, and how has the shift in the weapons comps lead to new strategies this season?
Okay, so I'm gonna start this off a little bit first, because so how I'm gonna go off on a little bit of a tangent of how we actually got Doug into the club as itself. When I was walking home from class one day, I happened to see him on the sidewalk with a giant Splatoon like theme water, like a water bottle. So I went to lunch with Veckel and just started talking to him, and it was just like, you know, we have a club here, right? He was like, we do? And I'm like, yeah, here's the server invite and stuff. And so he eventually joined. And then after season 4, we had 2 players of ours, which was Citrus and Cynthia, drop from the team. And we had to figure out a new player. And Doug was one of the people that Veckel was one of the people that filled out for this position. And at first, I was very skeptical of having a 10th player on our team. However, Episto was just like, oh no, this is like the best thing that can happen to us. I promise you, like, we're gonna have enough paint. It's gonna be fine. And it was like the best decision we have ever made.
Yeah, Electronic despised the fact that I was thinking, Veckel's a good idea. Veckel will be fine. Both you and Clover were both very skeptical. You were like, we're not gonna have enough paint. We're gonna be too slow. It's not gonna be enough to work around. And I simply said, we have pencil. It's in the meta now. We got paint. Let's just take it. And going from the previous team, it was a big shift going from roster of 5 to 4 and dropping 2 players out, but it was really cool how fast we caught on with each other. And I remember Doug's debut, Veckel's debut was astounding. Because we had one scrim, and then it was Splatlanders. And that was a great way to start the season. And it's a great way for him to get into comp for sure.
I also want to put on to that scrim was a bit of a nightmare with the players that we fought against. We didn't really, at the time, we didn't know how to fight up against a Flinza and brushes. And they had 2 brushes, a Flinza, and what was it? What was the other?
Bow?
It was a bow. Thank you. And we played for that for like an hour and a half.
20 games.
We played 20 games.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was brutal. It was a good introduction for Feckle though. It was very good.
Yeah. Hey,
Showed
if
him
there's
the
any
Get into the thick of it, as you know, trial by fire. There we go.
exactly.
we won 3 of those games.
Better than 0. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Absolutely. One of
Yeah.
those I was on Blob Deco.
Oh,
I mean, hey,
even better. Even better.
if there's any place for a tent main here, it's in Division 2, where like literally every single team it feels like has a tent main itself. So you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So
Um, Going to my next question. Walk was able to squeeze into finals following a tiebreaker with California Rollers after they won the final Week 5 match against UCF Aeronautics, who were initially opposed to take your spot into playoffs. Since then, Walk has been on the run in the Division 2 playoffs as y'all have been successfully fight your way to grand finals. What was your reaction making it into playoffs, and how has your strategy shifted as you play through quarterfinals and semifinals?
You want to go? Since I took the first. Okay. I want to say the team itself was very nervous about getting to finals because we were just like, we gotta hope that like something happens to what team was it? I want to say it was Aeronautics.
We had to pray that Aeronautics did not win.
Yes.
I do not like praying on people's downfall, but I knew if we wanted to get in, we would have to beat
Yeah.
them. Or they would have to get beaten by California Rollers.
They were a pretty good team though, to say the least.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Every
And
team that we fought was amazing.
It was great. And we beat California Rollers and they beat us, so we were assuming Aeronautics is gonna probably beat California Rollers. This is gonna be the end of our season. It was nice having us all here. Let's look forward to the next one. And then California Rollers just 4-0 the Aeronautics, and it was a blowaway to say the least. I was sitting on like the edge of my seat Saturday night at midnight, hoping these results would come in, because I knew we needed it, and I'd been waiting like the whole week for that match to come out, and it finally did. And I got to break the news: we're going to finals, at least quarterfinals.
I remember constantly refreshing the CCA Twitter and just like trying to find something that said, "Oh, here's the bracket," or "Oh, here are the final stats of everything." Just and we were like elated that we got it.
We didn't think we were gonna make it. We thought we
Yeah,
were gonna
no.
die right there. That was it. We had a good run, but now we're here, and we're still having a good run.
Yeah.
yeah, so let's actually talk a little bit about that run. So you played against Semble Cephalopods Garnet in quarterfinals, and you did quite well against them, only letting them take a single game off of you, moving then on to semifinals where you played against Springfield, Ohio. So this past Saturday, WALC had a shocking Game 9 victory set against Springfield, Ohio to direct on to the Grand Finals match. Each side kept trading games until Springfield, Ohio was able to take Game 5 and 6, leading WALC to having pulled off 3 consecutive game wins to take the set. So talk us a little bit through this match. What was it like in the moment, and how did you all overcome this situation and end up pulling that Game 9 victory?
Electronic will start.
Oh, okay. So it was stressful. And my attitude was just, we're gonna win this. We're gonna win this. We have to win this. We have to win this. Like, we can't. Like, it was. Ooh. Once we got into Game 4, we were like, okay, it's 2. It was like what 2-2 at that time. It's like, okay, 2-2. It's versus, or it was 2-3 or something like that. Was it? I don't know. It was when we got to the Mahi game, but
That's Game 6.
that was no, it wasn't. We lost Mahi. Oh yes, you're right. So we were like, okay, we know how to play Mahi really well. Let's if and like we can keep, like, if we win Mahi, we can like get our momentum and hopefully be able to win against Springfield, Ohio, and we got obliterated to say the least. And me and Episto were like, more so Episto was like, we're not out of the count yet. We still we got like we can just let's just like reverse sweep this. Let's do this. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Let's do it. You know, and I don't know if how other teammates were feeling at that time, but they were I don't know how else they were feeling, but I know for a fact me and Episto were just like, let's go.
We're gonna do this.
Yeah.
We're making it.
And
The biggest thing. You want to keep going?
No, you keep going. You keep going.
You want me to keep going? I'm gonna keep going for minutes.
You keep going. You keep going.
All right. So
Please do.
yeah, everything was fine. Game 1, we were like, okay, we won. Electronic and I know we talked about
yeah.
this. That's like a curse for us if we win game 1. We can't do that. We always lose one game, and it's normally game 1. And not losing that first game had us very nervous. We lost the second game. We took the third game. All seemed well. We got to game 4, we lost. Game 5, we lost. We were like, okay, that was a fluke. We got to Mahi. That's our map, right? We got bodied. It wasn't even funny. They just kind of took us out, and it was a wake up call for me. I was like, what are we doing? Why? What's going on over here? You know, the left flank. We left that way too long. There was just one shot, and 3 of us had to turn towards it while we were trying to retake, and that curtailed everything back to spawn, and we lost. And at that point, I know Vekla and Clover's mental was way down. They thought we were done there. And I essentially said, here's what we did wrong. Here's what we got to do. We're not out. And we got to game 7, and we did good. We got to game 8, and that was an extremely strong performance from us. And then game 9. Game 9 was where it all really went in our favor.
Mhm.
You know,
We tried to we took the reins. We had the mental back. We had won 2 games in a row. We just thought, let's take the third one. It's Museum. We're strong there. We've got it. And the statistics shown on stream obviously reflected that. We went crazy. I died once throughout the entire match, and Clover had his pretty much a debut game of his skill and got his 3K on stream.
Mhm.
And everybody had insane pushes, insane kills, and insane defense, and it was our most decisive game, and it was wonderful because we came from thinking we're 2-4 right now, we're not making it. It was a good run. Again, we thought I had to shift my mental from we got this to we're gonna have to have this, because we didn't have it at that point, and it turned out we did.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
also want to add. At game 8, we just started screaming at one another. Comms were like we knew what was going on, but it was just chaotic. I think I lost my voice. I lost my voice the next day. I swear to God.
First checkpoint was weird, and then second checkpoint, I was yelling at you to run that Rainmaker.
No. I was talking about crab leg. But
That's exactly what it was.
Mako was game 7. I want to say.
I forgot about that. I will never forgive myself for making plays like running for tower when there's enough people alive to just take it normally, but in that moment, I felt the need to get the lead so bad, I ran for it and figured, if I die, I die. My teammates will back me up. I ended up tap-shotting the shot on tower, and then I got support for the next guy, and we kept going from there. And with a minute left, it was lethal.
Yeah. I remember specifically game 9, I was just starting to... I always listen to music, and I just started screaming the song that I was listening to. It was awesome. The pop-off for that was crazy. There were a decent amount of people watching that too, I want to say.
Yeah, as semifinals match and going the full distance, like that's what we love to see here at the CCA. With two programs have a lot of history here too. So a fantastic match. It's great to hear that WALC kept that mental up and brought back all of your teammates back up for that challenge and just keep it staying in, and it paid off for you. You were able to wear the battle out to the ends and come out victorious at the end. So, you should be very proud of yourselves. That's an amazing victory under your belts, and you punched your ticket to the grand finals match too against a very, very familiar foe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, the very team that took us out week 1 it's going to be a completely different scenario this time in terms of how we're playing and how we're coordinating, because that was 2 days into Veckel's competitive experience, and now we're almost
It's been at least
we're a
3
month and a
months,
half. We're 2 months
three-
in. We are 2 months in.
No
It's
way
crazy to
we're
think
2
about
months
that,
in.
because
Yeah.
Oh my-
that match was
We are
March
2 months in.
16th.
I want to say
It's
you're right.
exactly 2 months today.
2 months. That's crazy. Time goes by fast.
Veckel's
He-
improvement has been exponential, to say the least, and everyone's improvement has been amazing.
Yeah. Minnie, would you like to direct the question their way about the finals match here?
Yeah. So going off from this intense semifinals into this rematch in this grand finals, do you guys feel prepared for this final dance of Division Two this season?
I'll let Electronic speak on this one.
Yes and no, to say the least. A big issue that we've had and we've communicated with staff is scheduling, because a lot of our players are out of town for a couple of weeks. So we're hoping that one of our players has Wi-Fi at his hotel
Mhm.
room, but it's I don't know if you've ever taken a switch to a hotel room, you know how
Mhm.
likely that is to happen. So we're a bit
You roll a dice.
yeah, we're,
Yes.
we're crossing our fingers here. We're hoping that it can all work out well, okay. But when we ever do, you want to talk about how we do VOD reviews, Episto?
Man, so preparing for this match has been great. We've obviously been preparing throughout this 2 month period, but
Mhm.
I have to say, before we get into our review, it's great to be here. There is no Div 2 story writer, but it's been great to get here and to have us coming back to kind of challenge the person that started this all off, and
Mhm.
or challenge the team that started this all off. And we're very excited. We're very ready, and optimistically, I am going to have a great time with this game. I don't know how it'll go. I'm confident we can do well, but the win will be decided whenever the final game is played. And in terms of reviews, WALC loves, their good old Sendo QBs, the maps and stuff. We also love our chalkboards. We draw the maps ourselves. That's how we reviewed Crab Leg and Mako Mart.
Yeah,
was great.
That was an awesome. That was to add a little bit more onto that. This was the first time that we after our team we assembled the team. We met at our club, and we just went. We usually get food after, and then we just decided to wander campus for a bit, and then we went into a random classroom with a chalkboard on it, and Episto was just like, let's just do VOD review, just right now. We're not doing anything tomorrow.
Yeah, one of you made the joke, and I said, "All right, give me a second." And I drew up a map of, I think it was Crab Leg first.
Yes, it was Crab Leg.
We talked about the Episto zone in spawn where I can be. In neutral, we talked about where everyone else should be, and it was very It was very fun. It was very memorable, and I think that was the start of our real chemistry. We really got it together.
Nice. Yeah. Two things. One, I now know for a fact you're not part of the CCA Division 2 server, because there is in fact a Division 2 story writer, and his name is Young
Ooh.
Sheldon. And
Young
second,
Sheldon
I
is a
wanted
false prophet.
it ends tonight for him. But moving on to the actual question I had, other than needless banter, I'm curious to kind of hear about how your program has been supporting WALC's development throughout the season. Because I know there's a lot of great individuals at Purdue, some of which play for competitive, some of which don't. So I'm kind of interested in hearing how both those people and the other teams, being Bash and Stu, have supported your fantastic season so far.
I'll take it away.
Yeah.
So it's been great having the support. Bash has been one of our strongest supporters, whether it be via scrims, practice, or in general just watching our streams and giving us that pep talk beforehand and that highlight afterwards and just saying you did great. Good job. That's been amazing. And everyone at Purdue is extremely supportive. If they know about our team and they know about the club, it's very often we'll see them, in the Twitch chat on stream, and it's it's always wonderful to like go back and review these games and see that there are so many people thinking that was a great play. Why did Electronic die there? Why did he die again?
Dude,
What's he
what the
doing?
hell?
What was that tent kill? All of those things. Like even on, I think it was that would have been game, I think it was 5, Barnacle and Dime Zones. Like even seeing Doug's 3K on Barnacle and us getting nothing off it. It was great to see the chat just light up and be like, "That's a tent moment." That's pretty good,
Nice.
and the
Yeah.
support's been wonderful.
That's glad. I'm glad to hear that. I know you Purdue folks are very passionate about your teams here, so it's glad to hear that you both have a fan base in-house who's helping you develop and such, and you have garnered quite a fan base here in the larger collegiate scene as well. One final question I wanted to ask that goes a little bit beyond season 5 here is what comes next for WALC, both as we look to the off season and the gap between season 5 and presumably season 6 in the fall, and what comes and a little bit beyond that as in the next year as well. Does WALC have any plans to do tournaments and stuff for the summer? Are you looking to like rotate members in and out? Kind of like, have you thought about this at all?
Absolutely. I'll let Electronic start, but
My personal goal, and I hope the team's goal as well. Let's get low ink banned.
we are looking to get low ink banned readily and very soon. We'll start a little bit lower. We'll see how we do, but we're gonna work our way up.
Are you playing this Saturday and Sunday?
Unfortunately, not due to certain circumstances. We are trying to get our finals game Sunday.
Yep.
Tentative. Don't
Figured
take
as
that
much.
seriously. But we unfortunately will not be playing. It'll likely be in June when we make a low ink debut for the first time in like 6 months.
I want to say we played before Doug was on, Veckel was on the team.
I
That
believe we
sounds
did, but
familiar. I think I remember seeing y'all play sometime over the season 4 or season 5 gap.
I want to say we had for our teammate it was JG5 was the last time we
I
played.
believe he subbed for us. I believe he
Yeah.
did. And in
I-
turn,
yeah.
I gave him some entrance exam help, and Stu had a very strong performance.
They did. That was quite fun realizing the difference between Stu previously and the Entrance Exam 3 Stu. But yes, it's very glad to hear that your team wants to continue on with low ink and such. I guess in like your collegiate goals, like regardless of your outcome here, are you looking to kind of push it further, or are you comfortable in the place you're in?
Div 1.
We're hoping for Div 1.
Div 1.
The biggest thing is we'll keep moving forward. Our roster probably won't shift. We'll be very stable unless someone comes along and we think they're the perfect thing to add to our team. We probably aren't going to shift our roster around just because we're happy with us 4. It's a full team. We just have to make sure we're all there, and if we're all there, it's going great. And we'll keep on walking, we'll keep on going, and we'll hope to continue our CCA runs in the future.
Hell yeah, sounds great. Minnie, do you have any final questions for our lovely walk guests?
Not a question, but I would love to see y'all in Div 1. I feel like Div 2, I think Krona said this previous, having the amount of tent players in your division compared to like Div 1 is like probably maybe 1-0. So I would love us like spice up of new weapons and everything, and your team is like probably a great match for that. So hopefully you go shooting for the stars for the future. Are all you guys like relatively like new, like freshmen, sophomore?
Yes.
Okay, so you have a
Electronic
long
and I-
period.
Electronic and I are freshmen, and Clover and Veckel are sophomores. So we will be a long-lasting team. It
You'll
seems.
be here for a while. Okay.
Yes.
Let me take a sip to that.
Permanent residents, loiterers, all of the above.
That's all good. I mean, hey, that's the neat thing with collegiate is that you really only have a short span when you're eligible to play it. So you'll see a lot of these older, more established teams start to fizzle out as their older, more experienced players leave, and then they get new players in. So there's always rise and grind between the different programs and the teams. That's always what makes it exciting too. But it's good to hear that WALC will be around for quite some time. And I know that us both as CCA staff and the entire community are very excited to watch what all develops for y'all. So, yes, thank you so much for joining this interview. It was lovely to talk to you both. Good luck against against the Splatlanders in the Division 2 finals. Hopefully this Sunday. If not, we'll figure it out. Don't worry. So before we let you off the stage here, would you like to plug anything? Twitch, Twitter, Blue Sky, anything?
Make sure to follow us on the WALC Twitters, which is platoon_WALC, and where we post either out of context moments from our group chat or just funny things, like example the chalkboard VOD review. So yeah, it's all on the WALC Twitter. So yeah.
Yeah. Anything from you, Pistol?
Obviously, I don't have much to plug here. Mainly the Twitter is the thing I want to get out. I don't normally like advertising, but I would say our Twitter is definitely a great place to start if you want to learn more about us as people or players. And that's pretty much what we've got.
Yeah, fair enough. So thank you so much for this interview. Good luck in your coming Grand Finals match. So
Absolutely.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us.
It was great
Thank
having
you.
y'all.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for having us here.
Yeah. So yeah, that was Weak Aquatic Little Creatures. Fantastic interview. Always great to talk to some of the more established Splatoon programs. And yeah, a very promising team here, and it's going to lead to a very exciting Division 2 Grand Finals match to come.
Yes.
So, Minnie, would you? I think it's about time you look to those those pivotal 6 matches that remained. Those being those grand final matches.
Yes.
So,
The-
oh, you're good. Yeah. So we're the final week. So there's only 6. Well, there's technically 12 matches for third place, but there's really only 6 matches that are super pivotal to actually crowning the division winners. So 6 grand final matches are to be played, and 6 new division winners are to be at the end of them. And taking a look at them as a whole, there's a lot of unorthodox matchups and paths for these grand final teams. A lot of teams that have met before, a lot of teams that didn't actually get first in their groups, and a lot of interesting storylines to dissect. Taking a look at Snow's fantasy bracket spreadsheet, there's only a few brackets left in Division 1 and only one in Division 4, courtesy of Minnie herself, that are left unbroken. So it has been an absolutely wonderful playoff season to watch. A lot of upsets, a lot of things haven't gone exactly how people have imagined them. That's what makes it so wonderful to watch. So what we're going to do is we're going to go, as usual, from Div 6 to Div 1, talk about all the matchups that are occurring, and then we, like I said previously, we have comments from every single Grand Finals team about their upcoming match. Some of them in video format and that we will read. So let's get started here with Division 6. So first, let's talk quickly about the third place match, that being Sun God Squad versus Coyotes Blue. So Sun God Squad plays against Coyote Blue for the third match here in Division 6. This is the first time either team has had the chance to finish on a podium at the end of the season. It should be a very fantastic match to watch. This is not the placement that Sun God Squad wanted. I feel it, but it's still a very good match to occur here, and a good result that could possibly be belts. As for Coyotes Blue, this is their first season here in the CCA, so even have the chance for a third place podium finish is fantastic. They've done wonderful this first season. So some very exciting things from this match. That being said, let's move on to that grand finals match, being Octos and Squids United Grey versus Auburn Navy. So Octos and Squids and Grey are, well, to give a little history here, they're kind of the other Div 6 part has been a bit overshadowed by Sun God Squad early this season. They're one of the only other Div 6 teams to have some competitive experience, and that very much shows with how dominant they've had their season has been so far. They've only dropped 3 games this entire season so far, and they're very much riding a high after beating Sun God Squad previous in the semifinals match previously. As for Auburn Navy, they're a bit of a dark horse here in the Division 6 race. They're very much looking to prove themselves as sort of a bit of a weaker season 4. Similarly to Squids United Grey, they've only dropped a few games and have their heads up high as they go into this final match. Regardless of the result, it's been a very strong showing from both of the teams this season, and either team, and each team will be fighting hard to take the crown home. So let's first see what Octos and Squids Grey have to say about this Division 6 matchup. Vapor, if you would.
Hey this is Marcus, captain of Octos and Squids United Grey. I'm here with Ben, our Jet Squelcher, and together with our other teammates Zoe and Tiffany, we've had quite the season here in CCA Div 6. I'm really proud of the progress that we've made so far, especially with this being Ben and Zoe's first foray into competitive play. It's been a long road getting in sync with each other's play styles and all that, but we've had no shortage of support. We've had our sibling team, ONSU Scarlet, give us some invaluable coaching, and we've also had other teams from Div 6 and Div 5 reach out to us for scrims to help us all hone our skills. Scrims, in fact, that's where our rivalry with Auburn Navy started, which, by the way, don't worry, we'll be the ones to end it and be the ones left standing. See you in the finals.
Well, that's what Octos and Squids United Grey had to say. It's very exciting to hear from them. This is the first time here on the podcast that we've had the chance to talk to an OSU team, or to feature them in some capacity. So, very excited to see what they're bringing here to this Division 6 match. As for Auburn Navy, they replied thus: going into the semifinals match, we knew we were going to win. We had a few slip-ups, but that had to do with all of us coming off of finals week. Moving on to the finals match, we are deep in the kitchen and getting ready to cook up onsu and serve them like fresh calamari. We already beat them 7-0 in the scrim. We imagine it wouldn't be too different here. Looks like there's some chefs in the kitchen at Auburn Navy. So it is going to be fantastic to see this Division 6 matchup. This is definitely one you want to have your eye on. And I believe they're playing sometimes this Sunday nights, as many of these matches are. But yeah. So moving on to Division 5, Minnie, would you like to take it from here?
Yeah, so the third place match would be against Clark Coy versus A-State Black. Clark looks for a bounce back after a rough loss to the tabletop troop and semis, while A-State Black looks to push the pivotal season as far as it can go. Now for the grand finals for this division, it would be the tabletop troop versus CSUDH Ivory. This match is one of the two matchups in the finals, with the tabletop troop having won 4-0 over CSUDH Ivory in week 4. That being said, a lot has happened since then. The tabletop troop made the Div 6 playoffs last season and made the seamless transition to Div 5 this season, putting together a dominant regular season run, only dropping one game. They were challenged in the quarterfinals by Florida State University before having an ultimate showdown with Clark in the semis, which they convincingly won with a 5-1 score and advancing to finals. While CSUDH Ivory came off of a solid first season last season, getting into Div 6 playoffs and putting in a valuable effort in the quarterfinals. They have a strong season this season, and have proved that they can go the distance in sets and still come up on top. Regardless of the results here, this is a major stepping stone for both of these, for the team and program. And now here is the match comment from the tabletop troop.
Hello, my name is Jin, and I'm the captain of the tabletop troop. And here I have...
Hello, cephalopods. My name is Splatjack, and I'm a proud frontline on the tabletop troop.
This season has honestly been amazing for us. Considering we only made to quarterfinals of Div 6 last season, and now we're in finals of Div 5, it's honestly been a dream come true for us.
And the CCA is really special for us since we're a freshman team. We've only been playing for 1 school year. So this finals, we're really excited for it because it's really going to test all the skills that we've built up together and really our friendship as a whole. And it's going to be really fun for us.
Our finals match against CSUDH Ivory is honestly going to be a hard one. Even though we beat them in groups, they're honestly a great team, and we need to give it our all to win. And remember,
we deal the cards!
What a great video from them. CSUDH Ivy gave us a little comment, and I shall read it. As the captain of the CSUDH Ivy, I am incredibly surprised at how far me and my team have grown compared to last season. We were lucky enough to face Tabletop Troop on the way to playoffs, and we're excited to meet again and settle the score. Our team started up as an idea between 5 students, and we worked our hard set to make it this far. Whether we win or lose in this grand finals, our time in the CCA will always be a core memory for everyone in our team. That's so warm. Why do you start with Division 4, Krona?
Certainly. Let's first take a look at the third place match, that being between Kraken Cove and Arc Haley. This is a rematch of a Week 2 matchup, with Kraken Cove having won that matchup 4-2. That being said, as we previously mentioned, a lot of time has happened since these early season matchups, and Arc Haley has just shown how much they can bring to this fight since then. This would be the first time either of these teams would finished a season on a podium here, so there's a lot on the line for both teams. Not finally, but as for next, Division 4, let's talk about the Grisco Themes Grand Final match between the WPI Grisco Union Busters and the this is a match that seemingly has been faded since both teams were placed here in Division 4. It is a showdown that would Grisco showdown that would make Mr. Grizz proud. Speaking on behalf of the Grisco Union Busters, this team is a majority of seniors, is at the tail end of dominant runs in history. They have one shot for all the glory, and it would be the perfect CCA season to ever have occurred. Gub will try to vault WPI into its own tier by winning the school's third division title. Moving on to the Grisco Gators, they finished second previously to UGA Red in Div 6 last season. However, they've now outlasted the reigning Div 6 champion and survived 2 Game 9s this season to advance to the finals. So who needs a Div 6 title when you could possibly have a Div 4 one instead? So they are very much still here in the running and are hungry to eat that Division 4 crown. So we will see if they can go the full distance or if they find themselves as the bridesmaid once more. First we have the WPI Grisco Union Busters match comments, and they sent us a lovely video. Vapor, roll the clip.
Hey CCA, this is Justin, the captain of WPI Grisco Union Busters, the key spreader of anti-union propaganda. Don't cancel me, it's not true. In terms of our performance, we've had a relatively easy and biful time this season, especially in comparison to our turbulent last one. Despite that, we are preparing hard for a match versus Grisco Gators, our Grisco buddy in Grams. Their team is comprised of very strong weapon picks and a lot of diversity, and they have worked quite hard to get here. We use our knowledge gained from our prior matches, such as our tent match versus Kraken Cove and our Octobrush match versus PSU Fish, and our scrims, to plan for the best possible team comps and strategies. It's unfortunate they didn't get a rematch versus UGA Red, but we are more than happy to make their second place a tradition in the CCA. After all, we need to get revenge for Champlain C-Form and make up for my GWU fantasy choice. We will be trying for one final gut sweep. See you then!
Thank you, Justin. You are the reason I have gray hairs. Anyways, moving on to the Grisco Gators match comments. Here's what Bepsi Boy, the captain, had. Hey, Pepsi Boy from here from University of Florida's Grisco Gators. We're very happy to have made it all the way to Grands. We are a pretty new team, and I'm proud of my teammates for all the work and the time they put into this season. We're excited to play against the Grisco Union Busters. As strong Grisco supporters ourselves, no matter the outcome, you'll make the Bear proud. This will be a very tough match as the Union Busters have season. Regardless of the outcome, I hope both teams have fun in the set, and I'm super happy with how the Gators did this. A lovely comment from the Gators. Div 4 is probably the one I am most excited for. Yes, I'm a little bit biased being a WPI student myself, but regardless, it is going to be a great Grisco themed matchup, and I'm excited to see what both of these teams bring to the table. Minnie, would you like to talk about the match that totally hasn't happened already, Division 3?
Yeah, so what the match that actually hasn't happened is the third place match with the Goomies versus EA UCD Splatoon White. It's a showdown between two secondary teams to grab the third place title. Both the teams have come into this match with basically the same record, 5-2 for the whole season. And this would be the first time they will be going against each other, so this should be a very exciting matchup between these two. However, both of these schools in previous seasons have gone against each other. UCD and VCU have gone against each other in Division 1. So will EA UCD Splatoon White continue this winning streak that between the two schools, or will the Goomies be able to pull off the victory against them? And now a match that totally has not happened at all. Like, what is the grand finals match against Egg Spaghetti versus CSULB Black? A California showdown against two secondary teams. Egg Spaghetti has a tough last season, going 0-5 in groups in Division 2, but this season in Division 3 they have going super strong, going 5-0 in groups, and they kept this strong momentum going into playoffs as they survived one of the hardest matches they had was the Bull Sharks, and then winning against the fan favorite Goomies. While CSULB Black was able to make playoffs with a 3-2 record via head-to-head tiebreaker from a very chaotic Div 3 group. They only dropped one game. They only dropped game one in the playoffs before heading into the finals. CSULB came in strong and were able to hold themselves and lead. Last part, that's a lie. That wasn't. It was a makeup. Now, going to X Spaghetti's match comment. They said this match will be interesting and different for us since CSULB Black runs a uncommon flings a roller by DP Squirtle, and Duke 3 appear to be very skilled mechanically. They swept EA UCD White already, which we had a close match against in groups. So there is plenty to be wary of. However, if X Spaghetti plays with vigor and coordination, much like in the semifinals, I believe we have what it takes to come out on top. And then CSULB Black did a video. So, Vapor.
Hello, it is CSULB Black's captain, DP Squirtle, or David. You know, gotta represent. He's back there. You can't really tell, but the little octane is on him. Anyway, I'm quickly going to talk about our upcoming match with X Spaghetti and just the way we got to finals and stuff. Anyways, like, we're ready for X Spaghetti's match. We're actually going to play it sooner than expected because of some issues, but by the time this is uploaded, the results should be up. So we're excited about that. We're excited to go into the match. We're feeling pretty confident. I feel like most teams going into the matches feel confident. Like, you can't go into a match feeling like negative. So we feel good. We've made our like analysis type of stuff, and we feel bomb. You just saw my husky leave, but anyway, then our way to finals, like, it's kind of like bumpy. Like, honestly, this is our second semester playing with CCA, and our first semester really rough, but things happen. We progress, and we just feel really good, really appreciative that we could like make it this far. We kind of felt the underdog just because like whenever like we see any type of like team we're going against, we like don't have any people cheering for us, but it's like honestly like it is what it is. Like, we're here to have fun and like prove people wrong. So we're glad to have this opportunity and may the best team win. Let's go.
What a great video for now. If you actually want to know, the grand final match did happen. CSULB Black did win, going 5-2?
5-4.
5-4. I watched it and I forgot. My bad. But we will talk about that later in the next week podcast. But going on.
A very impressive match for both teams.
Mhm.
But yes, that is next week coverage, concerning the fact that was a grand finals match. But yes, I'll steal the spotlight from here, Minnie, and talk about the loveliest ever Division 2. First, let's talk about the third place match, that being between the fan favorite Splat Scad Black versus Springfield, Ohio. Once again, this is a rematch, but having both teams played in week 5, so a bit later than a lot of the other rematches here, with Splat Scad having won that match going 4-1. That being said, Springfield, Ohio comes in this match after a bit of a tough loss, losing that Game 9 to WALC in the semifinals, but is stronger than ever, having a very impressive streak of victories in the playoffs so far. Can they keep up this momentum and get the redemption? As for Splat Scad, they've been looking strong throughout the entire season, with their only loss being in semifinals. Will their dominance come back and get them their first ever podium placement here in the CCA for their first season they have competed? We will have to see. So, talking a bit about the grand finals match here that we've covered a little bit previously already, we have the Splatlanders versus We Aquatic Little Creatures. Once again, this is a rematch for both teams. Splatlanders and WALC are both from Group 1, where they went against each other in Week 1, with Splatlanders winning this match 4-1. Both these teams come from tough semifinal sets, with Splatlanders going to a Game 8 and WALC going to a Game 9. This is the second time Splatlanders have been in a CCA grand final, with last season falling short in Division 4, getting second place to Esports Navy. Splatlanders' transition to Div 2 has been seamless. They have been looking strong throughout this entire season, with only going to a single Game 7 once against RIT Tiger Sharks earlier. They have adapted so well to this Div 2 environment, it is hard to find an opponent that could slow them down. That being said, WALC's path to finals has been tough and wild, getting to playoffs via a double-way tiebreaker as they finished 3-2 in groups and had to use their head-to-head against California Rollers. Last season, they barely missed out to playoff spot with the same result. They beat a division champion, won 2 Game 9s at this 2 Game 9s. WALC is hoping to take the title and win the rematch against Splatlanders. This is Purdue's first time in a division final in a while, the last being in Season 2 in Division 1. So a lot of Purdue stuff is riding on the match. Since we just talked to WALC, we're going to forgo a match comment from them, as we already had a lovely interview. But we did reach out to Splatlanders, and they were able to give us a video to run. So Vapor, if you would please roll that clip.
Hello all, I'm Cyan from Splatlanders, and I'm back again on the CCA podcast. You can't get rid of me. So when I was last here, I made one statement about how I really hope none of this ages poorly, and some of it did, but it wasn't what I thought. I was saying that mainly regarding our confidence against the California Rollers at the time, but it ended up being something very different that aged poorly. We're not facing Garnet right now. We're facing WALC. Needless to say, our team was very surprised by that. Especially because round 1, we didn't think much of WALC at the time. I will say, it was a week 1, we played them, we won, and we're like, cool, we can hold our own in Div 2. Because at that point, we were worried about the jump from Div 4 to Div 2. And that's really all we thought of it at the time. We did not expect at all that WALC would be the team that we'd end up be facing in grand finals. With that being said, we both play tense, so that's going to be quite fun to watch. But once again, we don't really have much to say about the actual match, aside from the fact that we sure think we can win this. When I asked the team for comments, I got one comment back from Wana, which I will now read out, and I believe he will be editing stuff on top of. We beat the team with a psychic. We got that Fana in our system, and we'll win Splat Zone's Robo Ramen. And yeah, that's all from me. I don't know what he's gonna do to edit on top of this, but I can't wait. Alright, take care, y'all.
They are the Splatlanders with their lovely animations. But in all seriousness, great to hear from them. We covered them here in the podcast very early into season 4, and I've been a fan ever since, just watching them grow. So to get them featured here in the podcast once again, and to see just their path here in season 5 has been absolutely brilliant. So yes, and an absolute fantastic, a banger of a Division 2 match yet to come. You don't want to look away to this one. That being said, there still is one more division left. That being the cream of the crop here in the CCA, Division 1. Minnie, take it away.
It's Division 1. So we starting off with the third place match against the Night Sharks against PSU Blue. It would be a very intense third place match, as both of these teams have history throughout the CCA league. They have gone against each other multiple times in the past, and it's been very close each time. Both of these teams have looked strong throughout this season currently, and will the Night Sharks earn a podium spot since for the first time in a while since season 3, where they got second, or will PSU Blue keep a spot on the podium? Very intense third place match, but the most very intense and hype match for CCA would be the grand finals against Red Embers versus USCD Esports Gold. It's a rematch from season 4 Div 1 quarterfinals, where Red Embers won there, going 5-3 against them. But can USCD win this rematch against them? Both of these teams have been strong coming into the playoffs, going 5-0, and at most dropping 2 games. They had the hardest challenge, which would be in the semifinals against PSU Blue and Night Sharks. Red Embers is coming into the season from being a dark horse, with going into playoffs last season with a 2-3 record, into a front runner this season, trying to compete in one of the most impressive 2-season arcs in CCA history. They have been a fan favorite throughout the season, and have brought much entertainment each time they're on a stream. While UCSD Esports Gold has had many shortcomings in each playoffs they have had. The furthest they have gone was 4th place since season 1, and this would be UCSD's first time in Division 1 finals, with them looking stronger forever. This will also be the last time CD Woomy, which would be the Carbon on the team, ever play for UCSD. Going off of that, let's hear the comments from Red Embers. They said, "Hello everyone and happy Thursday. Krona Bay here again for the billionth time. This time to talk about our match against UCSD Gold. This match has a huge stake, and the team feel like it is the best time to win it all. We predicted UCSD Gold to end here. As said in earlier episodes, we mostly Krona Beer stated that the hashtag we want gold, not out of toxicity, but because they offer a great challenge and super fun to play against. We want to play these guys. At the very least, we strive to make this a great finals, not just for the team, but for the spectators. If we do lose, expect 9 games, no less. I hope to see you all on Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern, when we faced off against Gold in a great matchup. See you then." I love that comment.
Love Krona Beer. Always fun to feature him here on the podcast.
And then here's UCSD Esports Gold comment. I believe it was CD Woomy who wrote this, and they said, "We're expecting the upcoming final match to be pretty intense. We had multiple scrims against Red Embers during the season, so we already know what to expect from them, and they'll know what to watch out for from us. These scrims themselves have basically been dead even too. After each one, we're hyped up ourselves up like, if it comes down to us versus Embers in the finals, we can definitely clutch the win. And I know they're probably thinking the same about us. This is my last quarter of UCSD, so in the end, with a league win before I have to leave the team would be an amazing way to wrap up my collegiate Splatoon experience. Either way, it's been quite a while since we made playoffs in the league, so I'm incredibly happy to have made it this far in the first place, and so proud of all of the progress we have made as a team over the past few months. What a lovely comment.
But yeah, this is looking to be such a fun, high-octane, intense matchup here in our Division 1 match. And if you want to do some homework and you want a little preview that's what's coming, go back and watch their playoff match from last season. One of the best sets the CCA has ever streamed. DRF will get on his high horse and claim that to eternity. It is that match and the story leading up to it, just amazing. The first playoff match from last season, literally hours after the playoff announcements came by, you could not ask for a better setup, and you could not ask for a better showing from both teams. So if you want to get hyped for this match, as you rightfully should be, go watch that, go watch the highlights, get into both these teams, because they are going to deliver a banger of a set this Sunday night. So the fan favorites definitely Red Embers, as all the fantasies tell you, but UCSD Esports have proven time after time in playoffs this season they are here to take that crown and finally match PSU in getting a Division 1 championship as so that's gonna be fantastic to watch. So moving on from the grand finals, what comes next here for the CCA? Well, as always, we have our streams happening this weekend. Tentatively, you have one Saturday night stream with the third place Div 6 match between Sun God Squad and Cody's Blue happening at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We're tentatively able to cover that, although I know our producer coverage is a little bit low this weekend, so we'll have to see if that does come full. What we can promise is that we will be covering all of the grand finals matches that are taking place throughout this week. As we have previously mentioned, one of them actually happened on Tuesday. That was Division 3's Egg Spaghetti versus Cal State Long Beach Black. That happened on Tuesday. You can go back and watch the VOD. Great match, went the full distance. So if you're into if you're Div 3 and you want to look at what happened for the winners, definitely go and check that out. As for the other matches, it's all happening on Sunday. From 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. we will have matches starting at the hour, with the first being Division 4's WPI Grisco Union Busters versus Grisco Gators at 8 p.m. Eastern. We will then have... Find it. Yes, I can. The Division 5, the Table Troop versus CSUDH Ivory happening at 9 p.m. an hour later. Then at 10 p.m. we're getting spicy. We have two matches happening simultaneously, that being the Division 6 on Sucre versus Auburn Navy, which will most likely end up on Splatoon Tourney, and then the match we've spent the last couple of minutes hyping up, that being the Division 1 Grand Final match between UCSD Esports Gold and Red Embers. Sunday is all going down. You want to have your eyes here at CCA Sunday night. So if you are a player on the third place team, feel free to put your stream request back in. We will try to cover if we have coverage. No promises. As for the other Div 2 matchup, I believe they're still to schedule something either this Sunday or to defer a little bit back. If it's possible, we will cover that one as well. So, yeah, such a great episode. A lot of great stuff from all the teams. It was great to cover this all. Looking forward for the podcast team. We have episode 21 scheduled for next Thursday at 8 p.m. where we'll be going over those pivotal playoff matches and talking with one of the division winners. I don't know who will be hosting that exclusively yet, but we'll have more information come Tuesday. And then we'll probably also have 22 happening the week after. We're not having a repeat of last season, episode 8. No 3-hour episodes of the podcast. That episode will be going over the entire season, with probably a tri-cast with some people discussing kind of their thoughts, their comments, and their fascinations from the season. So wrapping up here, I wanted to thank all of the lovely members from our podcast team that have contributed to this episode. Scripters being Minnie, Cygnus, myself, and Omazen. Our producer being the ever lovely Vapor. Match clips in the background, and the host being myself and Minnie. It's been a great episode. Really glad this all came together. So wrapping up, Minnie, would you like to plug anything for the lovely?
So I don't know how many E's. I keep forgetting how many E's are on my Twitter at. But if you go to the Twitter at BFSC _splat, that's my team Twitter for Big Fat Sea Cows, and then you can see in the bio every team member for that. And then I'm also on Twitch sometimes with Mini Epiphany. Krona, do you have anything to plug for you?
I do. As always, you can find me at Twitter at comrade_Corona. You can also, I'm also going to plug one more thing. You can also find the WPI Splatoon account, which covers both content from the Workers Union and the Union Busters at WPI_Splatoon. Felt I might as well plug that considering the match on Sunday. This has been Krona Mini. It's been lovely talking to you all for the last hour and a half. Enjoy the rest of your week here, and see you all Sunday for CCA Grand Finals match.
Bye-bye.
Bye.